Like I've been here for 8 years and I'm emotionally invested in this country and a resident and have roots here now. So I feel like I did a little something to help the country with that photograph. It's good.
Фотографія стала жорсткіша, похмуріша, більш пряма.
Hello and welcome to Ukraine in Flames, a special project by Ukraine Media Center and NGO Euro-Atlantic Course. And I'm your host, Miroslava Yaremkiv. War photography can powerfully convey emotions, whether you take a picture on the front lines or in the rear, photographing soldiers, medics, wounded civilians, refugees, or electricians that continue to repair the damaged power grid after Russian missile attacks. Beautiful war photographs may seem like a moral oxymoron. Can something so ugly be depicted with beauty? In today's episode, we're going to continue talking about wartime photography, this time from the perspective of a foreign and a Ukrainian photojournalist, and their two unique lenses on documenting the war in Ukraine. If you want to learn more about this subject, please continue watching this video and subscribe to our channel so that you don't miss our videos in the future. We're going to start with Christopher Occhicone, American documentary photographer and photojournalist who came to Ukraine to document the war in Donbass in 2014 and has been living here since. His photos have appeared in Time, the New York Times, the Wall Street Journal, and other world-known media. You might probably know his most famous picture to date of a volunteer Nastya Tikha who was evacuating disabled dogs from Irpin in the beginning of March last year. Christopher will tell us the story behind his world-famous photo and his thoughts about ethics of military photography in the modern world.
I came here in 2014 to photograph the war in August. My original thought was to stay thinking about longer term projects, at least a few weeks with guys from Battalion Donbass, which I did. Wasn't particularly successful. I mean, a lot of good images, but kind of fell in love with Ukraine and kept coming back, and eventually became a resident and have been photographing three main projects, photographing frontline. So like in regards to the role of photographers, I mean, I don't think anybody should feel pressure to go to front, like zero position. There's definitely things worth documenting there. And then there's things a little bit off the line that like maybe have more value of photograph. As you have to, when I say value, I mean the trade-off between risk and the importance of documenting. Like now, all soldiers have cell phones, and of course, like their pictures aren't as well composed and well lit and as well thought out as say like what a professional photographer could do. But between that and the videos they're recording, whether it's just like little things for TikTok, videos from themselves. I mean, I've seen hundreds of videos of from photographing in hospitals and stabilization points. Like medics will show you their GoPro films. So like they're amateurs, but like this is real documentation. That like, so is it, they're there anyway filming it. So is it necessary for every photographer to feel who wants to document the war in a broad sense to go there and risk their lives? I mean, it's a trade-off. I mean, I don't necessarily recommend it to anybody. There's always guys that are going to do it. And I think there's some Ukrainian guys doing amazing work. And there's also vultures. Like, for example, I was in a hospital on the front line, stabilization point, I should say, on the front line last week. An American photographer who's won a Pulitzer Prize, who's won World Press Photo of the Year, came for 15 minutes, took a picture of some soldiers playing ping pong in one of the rooms, identified the hospital, the town, with that information and the picture, like information from outside the window, gave our location away. And you know what? He got paid for the day and left. He's a pig in my mind. He's here for his own personal glory. I mean, you look at the guy's social media and, he's here for a month on rotation with his agency. And, he's posing with his arm around his buddy that he hasn't seen in a little while outside of, within the background, the apartment block in Dnipro that's blown up, and posing with a smile on. because like he's doing work, he's a good guy, he's documenting the war. So there's always people like this that are glory hounds, and it's about them. And there's other people that you look at Malolotka and I forgot Mstislav, I can't remember his last name, but these are iconic guys here in Ukraine, and like these guys, late February of last year, Mariupol is the hotspot. Everybody else is running away. They ran in and they stayed at great risk to themselves. They documented some of Russia's like first war crimes since full invasion. I mean, everything is a war crime coming to a peaceful country, but like official war crimes, they did this work. And now, thank God, not hurt. I think right now they're at Sundance. The premiere of the film they made there. Whole world's going to see it. I mean, that's mission accomplished, at great risk to themselves. People are seeing each other's work very quickly. You photograph and, it can be in the newspaper that night or the next morning at the latest or quite soon. And you see people's work and somebody makes an original photograph, like, well, that's a good one, but it's something you could go and get, You want a couple embracing a soldier going off to war and embracing his wife or reuniting with his child at the train station. We go to the train station now and find that, and it's a beautiful picture. And maybe somebody will photograph it a little bit differently or get a better expression. But like, we've seen this a lot. So like, how do you find a picture that people haven't seen? And I think it's difficult work, but it's in some ways difficult and easy. And it's about like what I said about like Malolotka and Mstislav. I apologize, I can't pronounce his last name. It's tricky. I think you should all anglicize your names. It'll be much easier for me. But they spend time with the people and the staff at the hospital in Mariupol. So there's pictures that exist, I'm sure, that we will see and stuff that they're going to show in the documentary didn't go out on the wire. That's going to be amazing behind the scenes, like when there's not bloodshed and horror, like interesting stuff, because they spend time with people. And like, I like to work parallel with photographers that work this way. Like, I just recently came back from Donbass with a Spanish photographer, Albert Lores, who's a resident, a guy you should definitely talk to. Like, he's on this theme. Like, we spent, 5 days and nights with guys at a stabilization point, and I've been going there since September and spending 4 or 5 days every couple of weeks, 2 or 3 weeks, go there for a couple of days. And next thing you know, it's like, oh, when you should come, like, we're gonna have a big dinner on Epiphany, you should be there for that. And like, that's what you get when you spend time. Yeah, anybody can come. And I saw guys come in, like I mentioned this other vulture, and I saw a couple other vultures come in, photograph injured people, not talk to anybody, and leave. Okay, like, I guess it serves the purpose of putting the news out. Ukrainians are getting injured and you see the terrible, but their pictures for sure aren't going to be memorable. They won't be memorable unless they got lucky. They're spraying, spray and pray. And you're watching them work and like, what are you doing? You look at what you're looking at. Focus on what you want to focus on. Wait for the moment, push the button. That's the way the kind of guys I like to hang around with, the way I like to think I work. And you get this, and then it was a birthday party, and guys, 10 o'clock at night, light a candle on a Kievska cake from Russian. I don't even know how it got there. I'm sure there's a whole story of the cake. We could probably make a movie about how it got to the front line. And, guys, when the medics are sleeping, they light the candle, wake them up, surprise, birthday, happy birthday. These are moments that you get and real pictures that you get if you spend time and get to know people, and they let you come into, like, hey, we're going to go into his bedroom and wake him up. That, is pictures that you get that tell the story of who the warriors are. And that's, to me, real photography. Like, I'm a little bit lucky, and I believe we create our own luck, but a little bit lucky that in the first months of invasion, I was, on retainer with the Wall Street Journal. And so every day I had occasional assignments, but I could go out and find my own photographs. And the battle was going on in Irpin, and we just first went in with a humanitarian, bringing humanitarian aid in and also food for soldiers. Went in with those guys, got stuck, battle broke out. We got stuck and had to walk out. And then after that, just walking into the town and walking out, I had this kind of freedom the journal gave me. And one of the days, from, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 football fields away, I saw Nastya Tikha, this now kind of well-known volunteer with animals, well-known because of the photograph I took. Like, it's really, I don't even know what to say. Like, the reaction to the photograph looked like quite stunning. I saw her coming towards me. And like I say, I was lucky, but by going back every day and just keep pushing, you find something sometimes, or something finds you. I saw her walking with disabled dogs and kind of, okay, she's going to pass this point. And it was like destroyed cars or just abandoned cars on the bridge that was destroyed coming from Irpin to Kyiv, which would be like, if the Russians had taken the town, they would have a straight shot to Kyiv. So they blew the bridge. And now displaced people are walking across the bridge, down across like a little man-made bridge to relative safety. And I just kind of realized, like, as she was coming towards me, this is something interesting. And here's a little gap between cars. I'm just going to wait here for her to pass by. And like, there's the background, the moody sky. And she just turned and said something to her husband, then looked in our direction. And she was there with her arms spread, like looking like kind of a superhero. And took one frame. I mean, I took some frames when she was coming towards me, but just one frame. And I was like, whoo. And then the moment was gone. She was on her way again. And like, I didn't even really, I thought it was interesting, but like, what do I got? And looked at it later. And one of my friends was like, man, you have something there. And, next thing you know, Zelensky reposts it, and I think Ukraine.ua, a bunch of, it just went viral. I still, last week I got 2, just like somebody drawing it, or like a little kid taking a bunch of little dogs and standing there and like recreating the picture with their friend. Every variant, tattoos. Somebody sent me a picture, they got the tattoo of a Ukrainian illustrator's drawing of the picture. And I got to meet her and really sit down with her for some time and take her portrait again in November. And all the dogs that in the picture were adopted. She uses the picture, a drawing of the picture, to raise money, and she puts it on shop. So like, it's really helped her. And like, I got a soft spot for these kinds of dogs. I got a soft spot for, she's a kid, she's 20 years old. A young person following their dream, big soft spot for that. So like, it really feels nice to like, it helped my career, it helped her. Cause this is best, I don't know, if you think of things as everything is transactional, like the best deal is when everybody wins. And like, it helped her do what she wants to do. It helped me in my career. Like, I go to the front line and like, oh, this guy took the picture of the girl with the dogs, get out. Like, it's really like, oh, take my picture now. I want to be famous too. Like a little bit of a joke, but like it's an original photograph. It makes people feel good. Like, it's kind of a little bit of a bright spot in a very dark time and a very dark place, scary place. She symbolizes bravery. It was actually, I gave the photograph to Ukrainian government to use in the bravery campaign. And every now and then I'll get a picture like, oh, it's in Berlin, it's in Tokyo. Like, it feels really nice actually to show people, like, I've been here for 8 years and I'm emotionally invested in this country and a resident and have roots here now. So I feel like I did a little something to help the country with that photograph. It's good.
Following, we're going to hear from Yuriy Stefaniak, photographer from Ukrainian, educational multimedia project, the materials of which are based on the results of socio-cultural expeditions. But since February 24th, Ukrainian repurposed its profile and now covers different war topics and doing photo digests of how Ukraine is resisting Russian occupation. Yuriy will talk about a huge demand for Ukrainian photography right now and how the world finally noticed Ukrainian photographers.
На мій погляд, українська фотографія стала потрібна в світі після 24 лютого. Навіть великі агенції, які не були представлені в Україні, вони були представлені на Росії десь, в них там свої офіси були, Україну вони не сприймали взагалі. Тобто після 24 лютого це змінилось, бо увага всього світу була прикута к тому, що відбувається в Україні. І фотографи це можуть показати найкраще. Фотографи, журналісти. І тому величезний попит на українську фотографію з'явився. І причому саме на українську фотографію, не на фотографію з України, хоча про це теж можемо казати, а на українську фотографію. Бо українські фотографи, які живуть в Україні, які знають, що тут відбувається, і вони в свою фотографію вкладають ті контексти, які тут відбуваються тут і зараз. Тобто, якщо ми можемо порівняти фотографії українських фотографів, зроблені після 24 лютого в Україні, і фотографії іноземних журналістів, це буде все-таки трошки різне, бо у більшості українських фотографів в кадри закладається більше сенсу, ніж просто те, що відбувається. Людина, яка живе в Україні і знімає, фотографує, це вже там не перший рік, не перший день. Вона вкладає більше сенсів, які з часом допоможуть краще зрозуміти ту ситуацію, яка відбувалася саме в той момент. Мені здається, ми можемо зараз говорити про те, що вся фотографія в Україні після 24 лютого військова або околовійськова. Тобто навіть, я думаю, якісь рекламні проекти, які зараз робляться, вони все-таки експлуатують військову тематику, бо це те, чим, на жаль, живе Україна після 24 лютого війною. Є багато арт-фотопроєктів, які теж рефлексують і переосмислюють військовий досвід, точніше, не військовий досвід, а вони переосмислюють та рефлексують як митці, які роблять ці проекти, їх досвід війни. Тобто, який би він не був, хтось з митців є внутрішньопереміщеними особами, хтось комбатантами, хтось біженцями, зовсім те. І всі ці фотопроекти, вони так чи інакше пов'язані з війною. Від цього, я думаю, зараз нікуди не можна подітися. Не замислювався над якимись своїми здобутками впродовж минулого року. Я намагався максимально документувати все, що відбувалось навколо мене, але перші 2 місяці повномасштабного вторгнення я провів у Львові, і тому цей побут, який був в мене у Львові, я його документував, але на фоні тих подій, які відбувались на Київщині, на Чернігівщині, тобто таке дуже дивне сприйняття своєї реальності. Не думаю, що зараз ці фотографії актуальні, але з часом може бути. Такий мій досвід. Типу, скільки б не знімав, все одно робиш недостатньо. В Ukrainian впродовж цього року у нас долучились нові волонтери, нові фотографи. І ми шукаємо зараз саме репортажних і документальних фотографів, які можуть швидко дуже зорієнтуватись на місцевості, зрозуміти, що відбувається на локації, і показати це. Дуже складно знайти портретного фотографа, шикарного, хорошого портретного фотографа, який багато років знімає, і відправити його на деокуповані території, отримати від нього повну картину того, що відбувається на деокупованих територіях. А наразі важливо документувати саме таке. Ну, це один з напрямків. І тому ми більше почали працювати з репортажними і документальними фотографами. Фотографія стала може жорсткіша, похмуріша, більш пряма. На мій погляд, за цей рік юкрейнери такий напрямок фотографія взяла.
You've been watching the special project by Ukraine Media Center and Euro-Atlantic course dedicated to the Russian-Ukrainian war, Ukraine in Flames. In the description under this video, you can find information on how you can help Ukraine fight Russian aggression. If you find our work useful, please like and share this video. Slava Ukraini!